Larry Downs, what exactly is the Big Bang disruption? We're talking technology and not theology here, right?
We are, yes. Big Bang disruption is the kind of product or service that we've become very familiar with, enters the market better and cheaper than its competitors, and devastates industries, takes over the market.
One serial disruptor seems to be Amazon. You talk a lot about them in the book. They've been disruptors with Kindle and their web services. Now they're talking about drones. Can you use them as a paradigm or a case?
Yes, you certainly can. I mean, the great thing about the Kindle was, we had almost a decade of failed efforts to develop ebook readers. And what they did very wisely was wait until just the right moment when the technology was ready and cheap enough and the business model was there for them. That's the model that we see, and they do it over and over again.
But can investors continue to bet on them being a serial disruptor, or do they get too big, fat, and happy and kind of lose their edge?
Well, of course, we don't know what they will do, but obviously they have been successful so far, and they have the culture of constantly undermining their own success, of constantly innovating. As long as they maintain that culture, they should be able to continue.
And right now, people are betting heavily on 3D printers to be the next big disruption. Do you think that's going to be so?
Yeah, we were just at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. There are now home printers for under $500. That's a price point that's going to make it possible for every consumer to replace their regular printer with a 3D printer and start to make their own stuff.
And is there a best one out there in your view? Is there going to be one winner like a Microsoft or an Amazon? Because a lot of people try and do it, but it always comes down to that one winner.
Well, the amazing thing about these Big Bang disruptors is increasingly they are working with kind of combinations of off-the-shelf components that are very cheap and interchangeable. There's a couple dozen vendors already in 3D printing. It's not clear that there will ever be a single best one.
But how should an investor or an early adopter know whether or not they've latched on to a faux disruptor? A lot of people had great expectations in the market for Zynga and Groupon, and that really failed to meet them. So how do you know if you're on the wrong track?
Well, a lot of the disruptors we looked at really were kind of one-offs, one-hit wonders, if you will. The problem was that there wasn't a culture within the organization of constantly innovating, indeed, of undermining their own success. So what you really want to look for is a company whose management is already looking to the next thing, even as the first thing is being successful.
So finally, how can investors profit from a Big Bang disruptor if they miss the IPO? A lot of people say, well, I missed it at the IPO, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, one of the amazing things is now we are getting the ability to invest even earlier. So, the SEC has promoted rules that eventually will allow individuals to invest pre-IPO in startups using crowdfunding platforms. I think that's the place to start looking if you want to really get in early.
All right. Thanks a lot, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Street.